I'm thankful that we got another year to train, and I'm just using that time to become better at all my crafts.
Hello and welcome to another edition of On the Line. I'm Alex Jordan. Today's guest is a real star girl, a national record holder in Barbados for the heptathlon, pentathlon, high jump, long jump, you name it. She's a real star in her own right as well. Welcome to On the Line, Akela Jones. Akela, welcome to On the Line.
Hi, Alex, and thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, girl. I mean, I'm holding up, bearing up in this time. What about you? What do you make of this all? Here we are, it's pandemic time.
Honestly, it's been some of my most creative time. It's been one of my most creative times. I can't even imagine it different. I'm thankful that we got another year to train, and I'm just using that time to become better at all my crafts.
Akela, you're the second person to tell me that they're actually really grateful for 2020, how they're coming out on top and, like you say, maybe being a bit more creative, etc. I'm trying not to be bitter. So maybe you can inspire us by telling us how has it worked for you?
Well, for us, the qualification period for Olympics started December 1st. And from December 1st till about early July, we have all that time to qualify for the Olympics. Since we're not a team sport, we have that freedom of, just attending any track meet once it's registered with the World Athletics and hit the qualifying time, and then try to hit it as many times as you can. And then hopefully that's enough confidence for your country to pick you to be, on the Olympic team.
But for everyone watching, I want them to know that Akela Jones holds records in Barbados for the long jump, the high jump, the heptathlon, and the pentathlon. She won gold as a junior. She was a star youngster, 2014 World Junior Championships. She has she's an NCAA champion in 2015. 2015 bronze for the high jump at Pan Am Games. It's a ton you've done. But then you had some work done on, you had an operation, you took some time off. And then last year, in the middle of this pandemic, you decided, I'm going back for that Olympic medal. Can you tell me a bit about that process? Because people with less strength, I think, would have crumbled during the pandemic with all of that time to think.
Well, to explain a little bit, before the surgery and all that, before Olympics, I've always been, struggling with injuries, and whether they were growth spurts, because I am a tall person, between doing the long jump, the high jump, and running hurdles, all these things, and just being like that core of, like how the world has a core. I'm that core for my team where, coaches depending on me a lot, and my teammates are depending on me a lot to score points at conference and at nationals. So, just doing all that, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of overuse sometimes. And, it came to a point where I was like, I got to take my rest. Like I had no choice. I surrender to my body. And, my mind was like, we got to rest with the body as well. And I took a step back from track and field. Thought of quitting many times, and just lost a lot of passion for the sport during surgery, during rehab. And throughout that process, especially after Olympics, I went through post-Olympic depression. Something that many athletes go through, and they don't really want to discuss it publicly. But post-Olympic depression is serious, because you go to the games and you think that, you're going to come back with a medal or at least a personal best or something that's just going to, spark more interest in the sport again. And
make it all worth it.
Make it all worth it. And your hands come back empty and you're like, this is not where I imagined my life would have been. I didn't think my bank account was going to look like that. I didn't think that, I thought that I would be in a different place. I thought I would have introduced myself to a new life, and that didn't happen. And so I had to recalculate the whole thing. And I really started to take interest in other things that I love to do, because I was such a one-track minded athlete in college. I was like, I got to get to Olympics. This is my ticket. This is my ticket. This is my ticket. And I started to indulge more in the things that I love to do after Olympics. I love art. I love photography. I love fashion. I just love the whole just creativity on another level. And I started to indulge more in those things. And I found through giving passion to other things that I love, I found myself back on the track. And when I got to the track, then I said, okay, I got energy for this, because I wasn't going home and thinking about this. I was thinking about other things that I love. So when I got to the track, it was like, okay, we at work. And then when we go from work, we switch it off. So I learned how to balance a lot. So that's where I found my passion again. And throughout the pandemic, I was thankful that I got another year to train again, because I wasn't training, but it wasn't going as I had hoped for. You know, still struggling with injuries. And I took a bold move to Atlanta to train with the winner's circle under Coach Dwight Phillips, who is a 4-time world champion and an Olympic champion as well. And so I took that bold move, and here I am enjoying training, enjoying being around elite athletes and being in a different environment, and just living in a new city with, you know, more things to do and to, like I said, extend my craft more to the world.
Akela Jones, I hear shivering. I hope I ain't got coronavirus. I think I just have goosebumps, because what a beautiful story, and what an age-old story about, I mean, for athletes and for people who are not even athletes, this idea that if you focus all of your energy on so much expectation on one thing, and the outcome, because it wasn't just Olympics, right? It was Olympics and coming home with saying,
yeah,
right. So that's when you lose the love for the process, you know. So that's beautiful that you found your art again. I wanted to ask you about your other interests, because I realized that you're a fashionista, right? I am insecure with fashion. I'm not a very big person in fashion. And whenever I see someone who looks effortlessly fashionable, I say, well, they must be into it. Tell us a bit about your interest in it, where it started, etc.
Well, I think I've always had a love for fashion, but growing up as a tall girl, I never could afford, or there was not that market niche for us. I think growing up, especially as a tall girl, they provide tall women, but tall girls now, it's a big struggle. So as you know, coming out of college and coming out of my tomboy stage, I said I really want to see how I can, you know, use what's on the market to look better, to present myself better, to feel better about myself, and dress as I have always wanted to dress. And so I started to dress, you know, bold prints, big African prints, flowers or leaves or anything that was just big and bold. I started to take a natural eye to that. And also I got into my business. I started my business 2 years ago, Edge by Echelon. And it started out first with me reselling. And then during the pandemic, I said, I think that I can make this. Like, I think that I can, because I wasn't seeing what I wanted. And I said, I am going to buy the materials to make what I want to wear.
Oh my gosh, what do you sell? What do you make and what do you sell?
I make earrings, some of the most beautiful earrings from, they're called button earrings, fabric button earrings. And I sell these earrings, and they're some of the most beautiful earrings. I also was making necklaces as well and bangles as well. So if you check my Instagram, for those who want to check it out, you can check it out at Akela Jumps. Pretty easy, Akela Jumps, and you can check out all the different craft that I do.
That's beautiful. I had no idea all of that was going on. And as you can see, I'm into my earrings.
I love those earrings, and it's going really good with your print.
Oh, thank you. I was worried about that, because I was thinking, is it too much? Is it taking away from the print? Because the print is a lot.
Yes, but it's a nice neckline. Your neckline is broader, so then the earrings it could do that too as well.
What do you know about me? What do you know about me and my fashion? How interesting, Akela, because the sports that you do, I find most track athletes, but particularly the sports that you do, the jumping, long jump, high jump, you know, you are athletic and you're tall. So you don't necessarily marry that with like elegant and fashionable, but there you have this artistic side. Were you into art at school?
I was not into art at school. I was into just, you know, track and field. I loved English. And surprisingly, when I was in college, I was very much into geology. Like geology classes, I was like, wow, these rocks and the way how the clouds are coming in. And I was so interested in geology. And I took a natural eye to just seeing how the world transforms and how it changes and evolves.
Okay, time for our first break here on the line. Make sure you check out Akela's earrings at Edged X Echelon. Get yourself a pair.
I'm thankful that we got another year to train. And I'm just using that time to become better at all my crafts.
Welcome back to On the Line. Today's guest is Akela Jones. Akela, you know we're in this moment of the pandemic, and I'm doing many different things that I've always done, but a new role I have is for the Barbados government. I work for the National Transformation Initiative. I'm a transformation artist. We're looking at the ways in which we can transform ourselves in Barbados to be even more powerful during and after this pandemic, you know? And so, you know, the Prime Minister talks about being able to pivot. You have this skill set, maybe you can't do this anymore, maybe you can do this, which is something that you're doing. But you speak beautiful English, you said you love English, and you have a vibrant personality. What about sports media?
I have thought about it. I volunteered. Well, I say I worked with Michael Jews in the school sports in 2019, and it would have to take some practice.
Of course, you can't just get there and be excellent.
But I definitely, it's definitely a skill that, you know, I listen so attentively to persons who broadcast sports, and you guys have to be on the ball. I mean, like, you always have to keep the audience entertained, and that for me was just like, whoa, this is a whole nother level of broadcasting. And kudos
to be fair, there are different roles. So I would even imagine you beginning as an expert role. So, you know, there's usually two people. So one person is the broadcaster, keeping the broadcast going where it needs to go. But then you're the expert, so you get to talk about what you know. Anyway, I will get back to you on that.
Come back to me in a couple of years, and then maybe we can work something out.
Good. All right, yeah, because a couple of years, you're only 25 years old. People forget how young you are because you were such a star as a young athlete. So your life is just beginning again, Akela. It's a really exciting one. Hopefully Tokyo. Do we know anything more about Tokyo?
Yes, Tokyo is on for the athletes. Right. At least we're not sure if we're going to have an audience, but we might have a virtual audience, but for sure the athletes are going to be there and we're going to be competing.
All right, and Akela, you have said, it was interesting to hear that you want a medal, that it is not good enough to just go and participate. And in some ways, Akela Jones, as one of Barbados's big medal hopes in that last Olympics and in this Olympics, we all have the same kind of issues, which is that we only have Oba's medal, right? Obadele's bronze medal in that 100 meters. It was Atlanta?
Sydney.
No, Sydney. Okay, sorry, because I know you're living in Atlanta. It's a thing for Barbadians. Can we get another medal? Does that add to your pressure? How much do you think about it? And what would be good enough to come home with that would make you feel satisfied?
Okay, so what I would say is that it doesn't add to my pressure. I think and this is almost like the downfall of I think my society, is that they expect us the small percentage expects a medal, but there's a big percentage that say, oh, they're just glad to be at the Olympics, you know? So it's not added pressure because most Barbadians don't expect Barbadians to go out there and perform at an elite level. So for me, it's more motivation to prove people that we can go out there and we can medal and give that hope back to Barbadians again.
Interesting. It's such a fascinating phenomenon, isn't it? Because, you know, I lived in Jamaica for 5 years, and the culture in Jamaica is the opposite, where their expectations on their athletes are unbelievable.
Yeah.
A Jamaican woman sat down next to me watching a Jamaican woman come second, right? A silver medal in the world. I was freaking out, like, go Jamaica, go Jamaica. The woman did cruel. I said, you can't be vexed for silver. And she looked at me in my eyes, Akela, and said, the only way that I'm glad for silver, is if Jamaica also take gold. Now that is a culture of winning, right? Culture.
Definitely. And I want Barbadians to expect greatness of themselves and of others around them as well. And that's something that I hope that not only I can do, but, you know, other elite athletes and other sports cricketers. I want to see Barbados, you know, excel as a team sport as well as some team sport other than netball as well. Maybe an Olympic team sport, basketball, field hockey. I would love to see us emerge in that way. So I'm just a small token. I'm just a small piece of that puzzle because there's so many great athletes from Barbados out there. And I am just always cheering for the whole team. I will always, and I expect more than one medal from Barbados this year. And And when that happens, you can quote me on this. I say Barbados to get more than 1 medal this year.
Okay, all right. I'm glad to hear it, Akela. All right, let's get back to Atlanta now. Hot Atlanta. You moved up there sort of end of summer, I guess, in 2020. So what's your routine been like, considering the times?
We train outdoors, but currently I'm in Miami for a 3-week training camp. So we've been here in the heat and we've been getting good training in. A typical day for me is we get up early. First thing on the agenda is training. We're on the track, sometimes 7:30 or 8 o'clock out on the track. And then we go home and we rest. And then we are about 2-3 hours after that, we're back in the gym. And we have an intense gym session on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Saturdays, sometimes we have beach workouts or sand routine workouts. Or if they're not beach workouts, we have hills to do. So we run hills. And everything is intense most of the time, but it's fun because you go for those few seconds hard, and then you rest. And then you go again hard, and then you rest. But then after that, it's like, I feel so much better about putting in work to achieve my goals.
As you should. Let's talk about Dwight Phillips, former USA American long jumper. What's he like and what's his training like? What's it like working underneath him?
Well, Dwight is fun. First of all, he's still young. I think that it's been less than 10 years since he's retired from track and field. So he's still very vibrant about the sport and very passionate about the sport, as he should be. He switched from athlete to coach now. And I feel like this is the best group that I could have joined. It's full of international athletes. And Dwight is just a open spirit. He understands, he gets how athletes feel. And he has that winner's mentality. I want to win. And I want to win. I keep winning by a lot. And he's more consistent.
You want no kind of win.
No, Dwight, my coach, he's like, you're gonna have to go there, you're gonna have to get after it. Like, I want to see you giving 100% effort each and every time you're on the track. And that's the kind of coaching mentality that I wanted when I left Barbados.
So Akela, you guys are doing sprints, you're doing physical work, you're working outside. Right now you're in Miami. What about your diet and what about your mental health?
Okay, so diet, still working on it. It's a work in progress.
I know you like your chevette.
I love my chevette. I also love my Caribbean grown provisions and everything, my breadfruit. And, that is not as easily accessible down here. But
right.
I just try each day, I just try to make the best decision possible. I don't always get it right, but it's a work in progress for me. So it's still a part of my regime that I'm trying to perfect. However, my mental health, it has its ups and down days. I've started to realize that the people that I surround myself with and my environment plays a big role in how I feel. So my apartment is full of plants because, that's more, that gets, when I look
good
at
energy.
It's my garden, it's my sanctuary. Yeah.
It's really good energy. It's good energy.
Yes. I also learn how to, as I said, switch on and switch off practice. So when I come home, I don't want to speak about practice. Maybe tell my mom how my day went, what was good, what was bad, what I could improve, but I don't want to go in long conversations about my track life and what my training was like. And then other than that, I speak to my friends. I work closely with Janelle Mears, and everyone is just trying to keep me on track and keep that my spirit is very, very high.
You have a good set of girlfriends though.
Yeah. My girlfriends keep me good. And my mom, I talk to my mom every day, and she's at the beach and she shows me the beach, or she will go running or hiking. And she's like, oh my God, today was so good. And I'm like, all right, Mom, it's cool here. Just stop bragging. So when that she went to shut down, I was like, Mom, you can't get to the beach after, I think it's 9 or 10 p.m. anymore. And I said, Mom, you can't get to the beach.
6 to 9.
So I started to be shady, but overall, a big improvement on my mental health versus a couple of years ago. I've really, really transformed as a person.
Well, Akela, I think that's very easy to see, and please rest assured that you have not just all of Barbados, but the whole Caribbean region behind you. Thank you for joining me on the line.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to Akela Jones for joining me on the line this week. She is a star. Make sure you join me next week, same time, same place, for another edition of On the Line. See you then.
Become better at all my crafts.
You know, oh Lord. Hold on a second, I knew this would happen. This is not very well balanced. All right, there it is.